If you've been thinking about setting up an offshore bank account, you're not alone. Every day, entrepreneurs, investors, and internationally minded people are looking to diversify their banking beyond their home country's borders. But most people have no idea where they should bank instead or how much money they need to get started. The truth is, offshore banking isn't just for the ultra wealthy anymore. Whether you're looking for banking diversification, protection from government overreach, or you're simply living an international lifestyle as an expat. Perhaps you moved from Europe to Southeast Asia to escape EU taxes. The banks in your new country often lack the infrastructure and the safety standards which you're looking for. But at the same time, continuing to using your home country's banks can trigger tax obligations which you don't want. So you're kind of stuck in between systems, and that is where offshore banking solved this problem. Opening an account in a separate, reputable jurisdiction purely for holding funds, diversification, or international access can make your entire setup much cleaner, more flexible, and actually compliant. And if all your money, your business, and your residency is tied to a single country, you have just one point of failure. If they freeze your accounts or the bank system goes down, you're completely stuck. And when I say offshore, I simply mean banking in a jurisdiction where you don't live or have any ties to. We are kicking things off with a jurisdiction I've personally been to, and I'm currently in the process of opening an account myself. These are the Channel Islands, just off the coast of the UK, and in particular the islands of Jersey and Guernsey. They are British Crown dependencies, meaning they're linked to the UK but operate independently. They function as autonomous financial centers that are designed for international clients. And many banks here offer accounts to non-residents, even without local presence. The most prominent bank here is HSBC Expert. They support clients from many countries and can be opened completely remotely. This is proper traditional offshore banking. You're dealing with a well-established UK banking group, but through their offshore division based in Jersey. The Channel Islands are a major financial center, as a lot of wealth management funds are based there. What HSBC Expert gives you is essentially UK-style banking but offshore. You get multi-currency accounts in British pounds, euros, and US dollars, access to debit and credit cards, and access to a personal relationship manager. They fall under the Jersey Bank Depositors Compensation Scheme, offering protection for eligible deposits of up to £50,000. The application is done fully online, but they do require substantial documentation and due diligence. Plus, a minimum deposit of £75,000 is required. Now, there are also two other solid options in Jersey, which are the Lloyds International Classic account and the NatWest International account. They give very similar features, but the main advantage with Lloyds is that the minimum deposit amount is only £5,000, and with NatWest, £25,000, making it more accessible. Now, there's one important exception with HSBC. If you're already banking with them in your home country and you have the Premier status, you can leverage that existing relationship to access HSBC Expert without meeting the 75k minimum balance requirements that new customers face. Basically, they allow you to transfer your banking relationship internationally. That is a pretty unique feature of HSBC, so if you're already with them, this is one of the easiest ways to get into offshore banking. While the Channel Islands do participate in CRS, they operate as a separate jurisdiction with their own legal and financial system, independent from the UK and the EU. This provides an extra layer of legal separation from mainland European freezes or seizures. So you're dealing with fully regulated, compliant banking used by institutions, funds, and high net worth individuals. Now, staying in the realm of UK offshore banking, but instead of the Channel Islands, the bank I'm covering next is based in Gibraltar. It is something completely different, but it will interest a lot of you. It is what they call a crypto-native offshore bank, and that is Xapo Bank. As I said, the bank is based in Gibraltar in the south of Spain, and again, a place I've been to myself. A very unique place, basically a peninsula with one big rock in the middle, with monkeys. I'll throw some pictures on the screen if I can find them. Gibraltar is a British territory with its own financial system. It has no VAT, it has low taxes, but quite connected to the UK. Deposits are protected under the Gibraltar Deposit Guarantee Scheme, covering up to £120,000 per eligible client. So with Xapo, you can open an account fully remotely, and important to know, this is a fully licensed bank. It's not a fintech or EMI. The unique angle here is that they're heavily focused on Bitcoin. As we can read on their homepage, a members-only private bank for Bitcoin holders. So what you're getting here is essentially a combination of traditional banking and crypto. You get a USD account but also a Bitcoin account, all in one platform. So if you're active in crypto, this becomes very interesting. One thing they emphasize is that customers' assets are never rehypothecated. That basically means they don't lend out or reuse your assets behind the scenes. Your funds stay yours. They offer yield on both fiat and crypto, around 3.35% on USD balances and around 0.5% on Bitcoin, both paid out daily in Bitcoin. They also offer Bitcoin-backed loans, meaning you can borrow USD against your Bitcoin without having to sell it. That means no capital gains tax the moment you access the cash. They do have an entry requirement and they have an annual fee of $1,000. But this isn't really a typical bank fee, it's more like a private banking membership. You get a UK sort code and account number, global spending with no forex fees, and a more tailored private banking setup. Most banks hate crypto, and Xapo is the opposite, and that is exactly why it's such a powerful option if you're active into crypto. For this bank, I will leave a special link down below in the description. So the third bank I want to show you where you can open an account remotely as a non-resident is actually in the United States. And what you can get here is essentially a personal account with a routing number and account number, meaning you can receive domestic USD payments with no US presence or residency required. And I'm talking about Schwab, which is the 12th largest bank in the US. The account comes with one of the best debit cards for international use, no foreign exchange fees, no ATM fees worldwide, and they even reimburse fees charged by other banks. And they kind of found this loophole where officially you're opening an international brokerage account. This gives you access to US investment options, but more importantly, they also give you a fully functional personal bank account, including a debit card. Important to know though, because it's officially a brokerage account, it's not FDIC protected. Instead, it's SIPC insured, which covers up to $250,000 for cash deposits. And because it's a brokerage account, you also get access to US investments, so including stocks, ETFs, and even US Treasury auctions, which most non-residents normally can't access directly. These can currently yield around 5%, which is higher than almost any traditional offshore bank. You can open this account fully remotely, and they accept clients from a wide range of countries. One important thing to know, they do require in most cases now an ITIN or SSN to open the account. And as a non-resident, you don't have an SSN, so the only option is getting an ITIN. An ITIN is basically a US tax identification number for non-residents. It's becoming more and more required when opening US accounts as a foreigner. I'll leave more information about that in the description. I personally have this account as well, and it's been very easy to use. And it's actually one of the only ways to get a US bank account in your personal name without having to go there in person. Then next we have what I'd like to call US-based offshore banking, and that is in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is officially US territory, but it has its own financial system while still being closely connected to the US banking infrastructure. Some of the main banks here are First Bank, Zenith Bank, and Banco Popular Puerto Rico. And these are significantly easier to open as a non-resident compared to traditional mainland US banks. You typically just need basic identification documents, go through standard KYC, and the entire process can be done remotely, with no physical presence required. So from an accessibility standpoint, this is one of the easiest offshore style setups that you can get. You get US style banking with a US routing number and account number, and you can send and receive USD like any US bank. Now personally, I haven't been to Puerto Rico and I don't have a personal account there, but I have worked with Zenith Bank for a couple of our clients. These banks are known for being very accessible, even for people from often restricted countries. If you're from India, Ghana, Bangladesh or similar countries, many times US banking options are not available for you. So if you're looking for access to the US financial system, Puerto Rico is one of the lowest barrier to entry points. However, the biggest catch is the regulatory framework. Puerto Rico operates under a different system compared to mainland US banks. And because of that, these banks are not covered by FDIC insurance. So if a bank were to fail, there's no government guarantee that your funds will be returned. But Zenith Bank approaches this differently. They operate on a full reserve model, meaning they don't lend out client deposits and instead generate revenue through fees and a monthly subscription of $20. And personally, that is why I lean more towards Zenith Bank in Puerto Rico. Now we're moving back to Europe. And when people think about banking, there's usually one country that comes to mind first: Switzerland. And the bank I'm talking about is Swissquote. This is one of the few ways you can actually open a Swiss bank account remotely. You can open it fully online from most countries, and while the verification is quite strict, you don't need to visit in person. This is a fully licensed Swiss bank with all the reputation that comes with it. You get multi-currency accounts, full investing capabilities, and access to one of the world's strongest banking jurisdictions. Swissquote provides you with an individual Swiss IBAN. You can take loans against your portfolio, so you can borrow against your assets as well, plus they don't charge a monthly fee. And even though Swiss banking secrecy isn't what it used to be back in the 90s, Switzerland still has very strong privacy laws. They are not part of the EU, and under the Federal Act on Banks, it's a criminal offense and not civil for a bank employee to leak data. That said, Switzerland does participate in CRS, and they do strict due diligence. US citizens in particular often run into issues, mainly due to their global tax reporting requirements back to the IRS, which is why many foreign banks prefer to avoid them, including Swissquote. And finally, staying in Europe but now going inside the EU, we have Portugal with Banco Atlântico Europa. This is a very practical option if you want a European IBAN as a non-resident with full SEPA access. This bank originally grew by serving the Portuguese golden visa market, so they're very experienced with KYC for clients who don't live in Europe. The onboarding is fully digital with video verification, document uploads and full due diligence, and it's only €50 to activate the account. So compared to the other banks we've covered, this is one of the lowest barrier to entry options. Once you're approved, you get full access to the European payment system. You can send and receive SEPA transfers, which is essential if you're working with European clients or suppliers. One word of warning though, their tech stack tends to be slower. It's a solid option for holding funds or as an emergency reserve, and deposits are protected up to €100,000 under the Portuguese Deposit Guarantee Scheme. But it's not ideal for high speed or high volume business operations. So this is less about advanced banking features and more about simple, reliable access to the European financial system. You also need to understand that every country has its own reporting requirements for foreign bank accounts. In most cases, you'll need to declare these accounts to your local tax authorities. This video is not about hiding money, which is getting harder anyway, but about reducing the single point of failure risk and accessing better banking infrastructure that fits your needs. So make sure you understand the tax implications in your specific situation. Some countries have tax treaties with the jurisdictions where these banks are located, which can affect things like withholding tax, reporting obligations, and how your income is treated. Now before you rush out and open 6 different accounts, let me quickly share 3 often named banks that just didn't make this list. First, Solo Bank in Georgia. This is a premium offer for Bank of Georgia and often praised for being very crypto friendly and accessible for foreigners. But the issue is you practically always need to show up in person. And second, banks in Panama. This is classic offshore banking with strong asset protection. But again, remote opening is practically not possible. And lastly, Singapore banks. Probably some of the best banks in the world, but for non-residents, remote opening is basically not possible unless you set up a local company or you're operating at a high net worth level. And in my opinion, if you're looking for a personal savings setup, jurisdictions that are stable, predictable, and don't interfere unnecessarily, like the Channel Islands or Gibraltar, are very interesting. So I've linked all the banks I mentioned along with additional dedicated videos in the description down below, so you can check them out for yourself if you want to know more information. And if you want personalized help with offshore banking, international tax structures, residencies, or setting up an international business structure, you can also schedule a call with us through the link in the description down below as well. We'll look at your specific situation case by case and help you figure out what actually makes sense for you. And I'm curious, which one would you actually go for, or did I miss a good option? Let me know down below in the comments.